Demand for mobile data is growing faster than service providers can support. Construction of towers could double in number without generating additional revenue to purchase that equipment. Alcatel-Lucent's Light Radio Cube allows wireless providers to meet the increased demand for mobile data without the additional towers. Please welcome the Vice President of Alcatel-Lucent's Wireless Division Americas, Mike Schabel. Mike.
Thank you very much. We are honored and humbled to have the opportunity to participate today and to be acknowledged by this award. So let me just start off by saying that. I actually personally am new to Texas. I've been here for about a year, and I can say I love it. So everything I've seen here in Texas, including with the MTBC, is just amazing and really a great place to be. So I represent Alcatel-Lucent, and we are, without question, a global business. We serve global customers. We're about a 16 billion euro company. We started out basically in the Americas, and then we merged recently in 2006 with Alcatel. So by all definition, we are a global company. But we call in North America, our North American headquarters is here in Texas. We have about almost 3,000 people. And I think our value proposition to the world, our value proposition to the industry is that we continue to believe that we drive the best technology and technology innovations into the market to solve key technical challenges and communication challenges that are out there. And I think actually I can reinforce that statement by saying that we have what used to be a national treasure, and I think it's now a global treasure in the form of Bell Labs, and continuing to drive that innovation. And we use that, and I'll talk about a little bit of how we use that today. But before I talk about why we were nominated for this finalist award, I actually want to talk to you about a challenge that we're facing in the wireless industry. And I would say this is probably, for me, a once-in-a-career lifetime type opportunity. And that is that what we're seeing is that these little smartphones, actually I don't even think of them as smartphones, I think of them as brilliant phones, can do absolutely everything. And you know what, I don't know half of it, my 7-year-old knows all of it, because it blows my mind. But across the industry, or across the world, what we're seeing is that whether it's the most affluent economies in the world, like what we have here in North America, or some of the most challenged economies in the world, communications over wireless infrastructure is becoming an absolute essential part of life. It's offered before utilities, people give it up before utilities. We're approaching 7 billion connections around the world. That's staggering, absolutely staggering. But what's also happening is that people aren't just making voice phone calls or making data phone calls. So we're seeing a major transformation in how one builds and constructs and thinks about these industries, or thinks about these networks in order to supply the demands of everyone around the world, from the lowest to the highest affluent economies. But that has consequences, and the consequences are very, very challenging. The consequences are checklists, right? The consequences are challenging because what it means is that everywhere you start to look outside of our door, you see these nice space stations and these nice towers. I don't know if you've seen them, just look around, and there are these antennas sitting everywhere. In order to handle the predicted 30x explosion in data that's going to happen over the few years, what you start to realize from a scalability perspective is you would need these darn things absolutely everywhere. And personally, I don't want to look out my window and see these everywhere. But also there's some physical constraints. If you go into the middle of New York City or Paris or any of these extremely dense urban areas, you don't have the footprint to put them there. It just doesn't work. So I don't think the demand is going to change, because my son at 7 is not going to stop using YouTube on the iPhone, which costs me a ton. But we need to make sure that we have another alternative. And so what we've done is created a concept we call light radio. And light radio is, in our words, the definition of how we as an industry need to change to transform ourselves and our networks and our way of communicating in order to enable all of this explosive data that's going to come down the pipe, because we cannot have this break. And it starts at the very asset, the very end point. Actually, I was rushing to get here. I forgot the product in my office, so forgive me. But it's a radio that's this big. It's the size of your fist. So it goes in your house, in your building. It can be stacked. It can be multiplexed. It can go onto light posts. It can go onto signs. It can go absolutely everywhere. So that we don't end up with these tree towers or base stations everywhere, but we make the wireless network basically a ubiquitous part of our fabric. When we have that, then we are able to handle all the data. And in fact, actually, The reason we need to do that is just simple physics. It means that the more capacity you need, the radiation that we send out has to go into smaller cells. And so it follows from physics, and it's an incredible innovation from Bell Labs that we've been able to use. And actually, that's what I'm responsible for, and we're bringing that to market. In fact, through it. I'm not going to give dates up today, sorry. So that's secret. But we also recognize that it's important not just to handle the access point. We recognize that the entire network has to change. And so yes, the functionalities of the network are exactly right, and they must remain as they do. But we have to transform where we put them, so that way we enable extraordinary scalability. And we talk about cloud, and oftentimes you hear Google talking about cloud in the form of application delivery. We think of cloud in the context of how one delivers all of the functions inside of the network, so that way you and I can enjoy the services we have. So we're looking at a major transformation of the entire network. When we do this, all of our calculations are showing that you end up with a greener telecommunications network. All of this driving power, or all of this data usage is actually becoming a reasonable impact on our global health and our global environment, and we need to reduce that. And this actually enables that as well. So it's not only invisible, it's not only inclusive as part of our fabric, it's not only driving towards green, but it's cheaper. And that's what's really important, because none of us, including my 7-year-old, wants to pay more money for the YouTubes on his iPhone. And that's the same whether you're here or in India or in some of the most challenged economies in the world. And that's what we're driving towards. So light radio actually is an extraordinary transformation of an industry. I'm so proud to have an opportunity to participate in that. I don't think you can ask for better experiences. And as Alcatel-Lucent, we believe that we will again be leading the technology change in the industry. So thank you very much.